Welcome back everyone to another WV Guns and Goats video. Glad to see you here, and if this is your first time, I am glad you found my channel. So what are we looking at in this video? Well, we're going to take a look at the NVG-50 by Binock, who were nice enough to send this unit to me so that I could bring you this video. And what is the NVG-50? Well, it is a digital night vision binocular, and I can already hear some people typing away in the comments section to tell me how bad digital night vision is because analog is so much better. Now, this won't replace a PVS-14, but this isn't the video for you high-speed, low-drag guys. This is for the farmer who wants to check on his animals after dark, for the camper who wants to see if the Bigfoot or the Mothman is lurking in the woods behind him. Or maybe for the airsofter who wants to join in on those night games and get an edge over their opponent. Or maybe just the person who thinks night vision is cool and wants the capability to see after dark, but doesn't want to spend thousands of dollars on traditional night vision gear. And while digital night vision is always improving, I believe that this unit has a good performance to price ratio, coming in at around $550, and while it's not a perfect unit, I have a few complaints, mostly in the mounting system. I feel it works well enough for what 80% of the people who want night vision would be using this for. I'll give the 20% to those guys best served with analog night vision. Now, I have the unit right here, and in this box is a bunch of accessories, and I'm going to show you everything that comes with it, and then I'll show you how it performs after dark. Now, I'm also going to show you this mounted on a helmet and on a firearm so you can see how versatile it actually is. But before we get into it, I want to ask you to headbutt that subscribe button and join the herd here at WV Guns and Goats. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to look at this device is that I have looked at expensive digital night vision scopes with the Shinix line of devices, and you can find those videos in my older video list. They are pretty much on par with analog night vision, but they are expensive. I wanted to offset that by giving all you out there watching an idea of what can be had for a much lower price, and a price that can make this unit attractive to someone who wants night vision, and I hope by the end of this video you at least have an idea of its capabilities and if it's right for you. Now I'm going to go ahead and read off the box the various features that are listed on here. There's not a lot of them, so we can get right into opening this up. It's the NVG-50 digital outdoor camera monocular, and it's 192 grams in weight for outdoor use, IPX7 waterproof, 600 meter high visibility in darkness, 4 picture modes, and then there's some specs down here and a photo of the unit itself. And it says it has ultra low illumination of 0.001 lux. It's a CMOS sensor unit, and it's 2560 by 1440 pixel resolution. It has 4 color modes, and it actually shows them right here. There's a full color black and white fluorescent green and a white phosphorus mode, and it has 1x to 4x magnification. I'm going to open it up, and we've got a manual here, and it is going through all the different features of the unit, and then it goes through what you should see on the screen. And then in the back here is a menu items explained. It explains all the different menu items that this unit has inside of it. And you're given a nice soft carry bag for the unit. It comes with an exterior battery charger. Now this is a little bit too big. I already had it out of the box. This is the helmet mount right here, and you can really adjust this helmet mount. It's got multiple thumb wheels that you can loosen up and adjust it in multiple ways to better fit your eye when it's on the helmet. And then it comes with this mount right here. This is actually a separate piece right here at the end, this L-shaped bracket, and this attaches to the unit, and then this end attaches to your helmet, and then you can mount it up here and look through it as a monocular. So you get an extra eyepiece. This is actually the eyepiece that comes on the unit when you get it from the factory, and I've put the other eyepiece, the optional eyepiece that comes in the box, and here we have the unit itself. We will get right back to this here in a moment, but I want to show you everything that comes in this box as well. Now there's another box inside of the box, And this has a bunch of accessories in it. So you get a cleaning cloth. Then this is a Wilcox compatible mount for the unit. And in this bag right here is a Picatinny rail mount, because you can use this as a rifle mounted weapon sight, and this allows you to do so. And then there's a couple bags of hardware inside here. Now let's go back to the unit and take a look at it. So I've showed you everything that comes with the NVG-50. Let's take a closer look at the unit itself. It appears to be built of a very high quality polymer. It feels well built, and it's very ergonomic to hold on to. Actually, if you look at the way my hand wraps around it, you have a curved section right here. Depending on which hand you're holding it with, just makes it easy to hold on to. And it's a good size. It's not overly heavy. It's not overly large. It's just a nice compact optic. Now up top here is the battery compartment, but on the top of the battery compartment are 3 screw holes, and this is how you attach either the helmet mount or the Picatinny rail mount. Now you will need one of those little precision screwdrivers because it has very small screws that come with it. One of my complaints about it is the size of the fasteners used to attach the helmet mount or the Picatinny rail mount. I wish they would go to like 2 larger fasteners instead of 3 little tiny ones with a tiny Phillips head to them. And then back here, this is the battery compartment door. There is a knurled thumb knob right there that you loosen to access the battery compartment. Now inside of here are 2 18350 batteries. They give this unit about a 5-hour battery life. Now that drops down when you're using the IR illuminator or when you're using the Wi-Fi connection. And they say there's an app, but I was just looking on the App Store on Apple, on iPhone, and I did not see an app for this unit. So maybe it's just something for the Android only. But there's apparently an app out there somewhere so that you can broadcast from this to your phone. And using the Wi-Fi and the IR illuminator, cut the battery life down. The illuminator gives you a 4-hour battery life, and using the Wi-Fi in the illuminator gives you a 3-hour battery life. So if you want to conserve battery power, just remember if you're using an IR illuminator, you're going to start cutting down on the battery runtime. So let's look at the front here. There's that IR illuminator right here, this little LED, and it is a variable power IR illuminator. I'll get into that when I get to the function buttons. Up front, we have our front lens and our focus ring right here. Now mine is pretty easy to turn, but I have heard that other people have said this ring has a good bit of friction to it. Mine just seems really easy to turn and change focus there. Now on the left side of the unit, we have a compartment right here, and inside this compartment is a USB-C port. That's for charging the batteries inside of the unit. You don't have to use that external battery charger, but it does come with it. And it has a charging light that lets you know the status of the battery, if the unit is charging or if the battery is fully charged. There is also a SD card slot in there, and this unit comes with a 16 gigabyte SD card so you can record your photos and your videos to it. Now it is rubber sealed to keep the elements out of the unit. And here we have the main function buttons. These are the only buttons on this unit, and we're going to start right here with the power button. If you press and hold this, you can turn the unit on or turn it off. If you click this button while the unit is on, you're going to start recording video, and it's going to display a timer on the screen to let you know that you are recording. And to stop recording, just click it again, and it will save that file to the memory card. Then next up here, we have the IR button. If you click this button, you're going to cycle through the different color modes. The green, the color, the white phosphorus, the black and white. You're going to cycle through those. If you press and hold this button, you'll see IR on appear at the bottom of the screen in here. That way you know that the IR illuminator is on. When it's on, click this button and you'll cycle through the various power levels that the IR illuminator has. If you want to turn the IR illuminator off, just press and hold that button a second time and you'll see the IR on go away. You'll know that it's turned off. Up front here, we have the zoom button and the menu button. Now this optic has a lot of menu items in it, from flipping the orientation of the image. So when you go from helmet mount to weapon mount, you are looking at the correct orientation and you're not looking at an upside down image. It also has crosshairs, video clip recording length, screen brightness. It has all kinds of menu items. That menu can be accessed by pressing and holding that button. If you click this button, you're going to cycle through the different zoom levels from 1x to 4x zoom. You just click that and you'll cycle through the magnification. Then back here, we have a diopter ring for focusing your view on the screen in there. And then on this side, there's a little port right here that's covered up. You can get an external battery pack that really extends the life of the battery in this unit. And I'm not sure the amount of hours it adds to the unit, but it is available if you are using this for a long time. You might want to look into that external battery pack. So that's all the features that the unit has on the outside of it. Next up, I'll show you the helmet mount mounted to the unit, and then I'll show you the Picatinny rail mount mounted to the unit as well. Now, before we get to the next part of this video, here's where my main complaint about the NVG-50 is, and it is in the mounting system that this optic uses. Look at these three tiny screw holes right here. They're for the helmet mount and for this plate that mounts to the body of the optic so you can mount it to this Picatinny rail mount. Now, this plate attaches to the body of the optic with 3 screws, and it attaches to this plate with 4 screws. But look here, here's the size of the screws that it uses. The 3 in the center are really, really small. They're almost eyeglass size screws. They're also Phillips heads. Phillips heads are super easy to strip out, especially when they're this small. And look at those 2 black screws. Those are the screws that this uses to attach to this plate. It actually uses 4 of those screws. You can see how much larger they are than the screws in the center. And then there's a 5.56 bullet for comparison. I really would like to see this upgraded to those black screws used in the body of the optic as well as the mount. Maybe this mount moved to a single piece mount, but they're just not very confidence inspiring having those little tiny screws there, especially if you're running around playing airsoft or something and walking around your property, you happen to fall. I don't think the optic would take that kind of force. Those screws might just pull right out of the optic and damage everything. So I'd really like to see Binock upgrade those screws. And this plate right here, this is the helmet mount. It's also held on by 3 of those screws, even though it has 6 holes in here for you to put it on the left or right side. This optic just needs larger fasteners that attach the mounting points to the body of the optic. So here's the NVG-50's helmet arm, and it is pretty adjustable. It's got 3 different knobs on it that adjust it in different ways. And the way this attaches to the NVG-50 is there's this round piece that attaches to the body of the NVG-50 with these 3 small Phillips head screws. And then this C-clamp just clamps around that like so. And you're gonna wanna tighten it down afterwards. And you're gonna wanna try to get this pretty tight on there. But then you can adjust the other 2 knobs on this arm to best make it fit your eye level when you're wearing your helmet. Let me go ahead and put this on. I've almost got it all the way adjusted to where I can just, let's see, loosen that up. And now it's down there where it needs to be for my eye to see through it. Of course, you can also make little adjustments. You can adjust it there, adjust it here, and then you can adjust this back here if you need it further away from your face. So you just got to kind of play with it from your face to the view screen there. All right, so here is the NVG-50 set up for weapons mount. I've got the pick rail mount mounted to it, And there's actually a plate that attaches to the body of the NVG-50 with 3 small screws, and then the pick rail clamp attaches to that plate with 5 screws right here, and you do have to attach the recoil lug to the pick rail mount. I'd really like to see that as a single piece mount, perhaps on a future model. Let me show you what it looks like on a firearm. So here's the NVG-50 mounted to the CZ Evo. Now this mount does take up a good bit of rail space, but it is cantilevered so you can get the proper eye relief that you need when using it as a weapon sight. Now you do need to remember that you have to go into the menu and select the UI 180 option so that the image is oriented correctly for using it as a rifle sight. Alright, I'm out here with the NVG-50, recording video and audio through the unit. It is snowing its butt off and it's super cold out here. I can't really feel my fingers now, but I wanted to get this footage for all y'all watching. We are looking out over this field. It's completely dark out over this field, and to that tree line down there is about 300 yards. Because it's snowing so hard, there's no ambient moonlight or starlight or any of that, and the NVG-50 is allowing me to see pretty well out here in the darkness. Okay everybody, I would say that the conditions tonight are excellent for testing night vision under, because we have the snow on the ground here, we have a nearly full moon phase, and we have a very clear sky, leading to everything being lit up quite a bit by the amount of moonlight that is out here, especially with the snow on the ground reflecting it. And the NVG-50 is just loving all this ambient light, and it's really helping the unit out here. You can see over there into the trees, see that tower up there. Now, to the naked eye, you can see pretty good out here, but the NVG-50 just adds on to what you can see under these conditions. It's like I interrupted one of their meetings or something, looking away like you weren't plotting anything. Yeah, you. And you. And here is a nearly full moon night. The conditions are clear. Got a lot of moonlight coming down. And here are the color modes. We have the green and the white phosphorus. And we've got a black and white as well as a color mode. And that's one of the advantages that digital night vision can have over analog night vision, is the ability to give you a color image and record video and photos, but so can a phone. Now here it is compared to a phone, an iPhone 13 Pro. You can see that on the left, the NVG-50 is giving a much more detailed and brighter image. You'll see when we check out these goats here that we can really make out shapes of goats with the iPhone, but with the NVG-50, we can see the differences in their fur patterns. And there is an IR illuminator that you can turn on to give this unit a boost if it needs it, but it's not necessary for the operation of the unit. But even with it turned off, because we have that moonlight, we can tell the different patterns in the goat's coats. Now how about when we zoom in? Well, we've got up to 4x digital zoom with this unit, and at 4x we can still make out details on that shed thanks to the ambient light we have out here. We do have to keep in mind some of the limitations on this unit. Now it does get noisier the more you zoom in, but do keep in mind looking through this unit is a slightly better image quality than what it records. And one of those limitations I am talking about is the amount of available light, the ambient light, versus the viewing distance. Because we have a lot of ambient light from the moon here, we can really see to a far distance. But this is a monocular and it is designed for closer distance use. And we can see here on the iPhone, we can't really see much in the darkness here. We can make out the goat's shapes on the left. Now we'll use the IR illuminator to see who's hanging out in the darkness right there. This is a variable power IR illuminator. However, once I got past the first 2 power levels, I didn't really notice much more of an increase in the power with the last 2 levels. And we need to keep in mind, on a night like this where there's no moon, no ambient light, our viewing distance is going to be reduced for detail to about 50 to 60 yards. We can make out larger details past that distance, but we can't make out the fine details like those posts and that shed much farther than what we can see them right there. However, if someone keeps these limitations in mind, I think this unit would be good for the casual night vision user. Then they can always add an IR illuminator because they're not the kind of person in a situation who's worried about someone with night vision looking back at them. I don't feel this would replace an analog unit like a PVS 7 or a PVS 14, but for under $1,000, if you want night vision capabilities and you're looking at something on Amazon that's like $200 or less, save up your money for this unit or an NVG-50. You can find them at Binock's website. I'll have it here on the screen, or one of their US dealers. Now keep in mind, my biggest complaint with this unit was not in its performance, but its attachment system. I feel the attachment system for the helmet arm and the Picatinny rail are subpar and need improvement, but they are workable. So everybody, this has been another WV Guns and Goats video. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you're not out there having fun shooting, what are you doing?